top stories this evening, sponsored by Courts, bringing value home. Talks break down. AFC will not coalesce with the PNCR for the 2025 elections. We prefer coalition. 70-30 split of positions was reasonable, says Aubrey Norton. Over 15,000 students at the NGSA in 2025. And religious leaders urged Christian community that signs of humility was demonstrated by Jesus Christ. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Travis Chase with the Thursday, April 17 edition of the HGP Nightly News. We have what you need to know this evening. Antonio Day informs us, first up, that the Alliance for Change will not coalesce with the People's National Congress reform in the lead-up to the 2025 general and regional elections, since talks between the two political parties have broken down.
We've communicated our decision, regrettably so, to APNU, and we've also communicated to them that we will proceed with our campaign as Alliance for Change since time is of the essence.
That was David Patterson, chairman of the Alliance for Change, giving an update on the status of coalition politics. Furthermore, Patterson stated that at a press conference on Holy Thursday, that the party continues to think that the two opposition parties can work together in other ways.
The door is always open prior to nomination day. Should there be a change in this position?
The AFC chairman responding to a question from Nightly News by confirming that the two parties will continue to work together at the parliamentary level, as they have done in the past.
We have said since 2022, when we formally, as a party, exited from the conditions of the previous accord, that at the parliamentary level we remain committed and working together.
When pressed by journalists of who the prime ministerial candidate of the Alliance for Change would be, the party's leader and presidential candidate Nigel Hughes remarked that at this juncture it will be too premature to make such announcements.
The recommendations for prime ministerial candidate are made by the party. That's why I was asking if you're joining. And until the party has deliberated on that, we wouldn't know who the prime ministerial candidate is likely to be.
The Partnership for National Unity objected to the 60-40 allocation of positions proposed by the AFC and instead maintained that a 70-30 representation at the government level would be fair. Both sides have been unable to come to a mutually agreeable conclusion on this agreement. I'm Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Meanwhile, the PNCR says the party prefers coalition and that 70-30 split of positions was reasonable. Here's more. Leader of the People's National Congress reform, Aubrey Norton, confirmed to Nightly News via telephone on Thursday that the Alliance for Change has indicated to the party that they opted not to coalesce with the PNCR to contest the 2025 general and regional elections.
We are still committed to building a broad coalition. We can't determine for the AFC what they did. We have placed before them proposals we thought were reasonable, and they have arrived at a conclusion.
The PNCR presidential candidate maintained that his party has not closed the door to coalition politics and that his party will continue to hit the ground running.
And we will do our work to ensure that we be successful in the elections while not closing the door to coalition politics.
Going forward, therefore, that means that you will continue to be the presidential candidate for the PNCR?
Yes, I will be.
2 weeks ago, the AFC submitted its list of demands, which included the presidential candidate's position and the 60-40 division of all positions in government, with the AFC getting 40%. The PNCR, in response to the AFC demands, said that given that it is the largest party in the APNU, it would have to get the presidential candidate and proposed a 70-30 split of positions.
We prefer coalition. It is evident that the AFC doesn't want coalition. Well, there's much we can do about that, but we will work to pursue coalition with as many groups as possible.
The two parties were hoping to rekindle what they achieved in 2015 when they formed a coalition and unseated the governing PPPC. David Granger of the People's National Congress Reform was elected president, while Moses Nagamoto of the Alliance for Change was elected prime minister. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. The 2025 National Grade 6 Assessment has recorded the highest attendance rate for the past 4 years. This was highlighted by the Minister of Education on Wednesday. Daisy Richards will tell you more.
A total of 15,813 students were registered in 2025 to write the National Grade 6 Assessment. According to the Ministry of Education, the attendance of 15,497 students have been reported so far, as 1% of schools are yet to report to the ministry. Education Minister Priya Manichan highlighted that these numbers are the highest that they have recorded in several years.
It's the highest we've seen since COVID. And indeed, if we were to go back at records in pre-COVID years, this would be one of the highest turnouts we've ever seen.
Included in this number are 115 students with special education needs who wrote the examination, and another first occurred where 91 students wrote the exams in Spanish. The minister pointed out that the reason for the high attendance might be owed to the new initiatives implemented in the school system.
All our public school and private school children received stationery package, which included the right pencils that are required for shading and writing, rulers, erasers, sharpeners, and in a package with that would be allowed in the exam room.
Region 5 recorded the highest attendance with 98.85%. Grade 6 pupils sat the National Grade 6 Assessment on the 16th and 17th of April to gain entry into secondary school in September. For AGP Nightly News, I am Daisy Richards.
Thank you, Daisy. Stay with us. There is more news ahead.
Keeping up with the kids' growth spurts might mean it's time for a bigger fridge. Don't worry, at Quartz, we've got you. Save up to $50,000 on select fridges. Get a free grill or mixer with select stoves and more. Need to upgrade your home? Get smart TVs from as low as $32,999. Plus, shop today and pay later. And make your first payment in 30 days with Quartz Ready Finance. Whatever you need, we've got you. Only at Quartz, bringing value home. Offer ends April 23, 2025.
Welcome to SNL Electrical Inc., where lighting and electrical needs are met with expertise and style. From the latest in electrical lamps to durable cables, circuit breakers, panels, we have it all. Illuminate your space with our elegant chandeliers, stunning crystal lights, and versatile pole lights. Looking to upgrade your comfort? Explore top-of-the-line AC units and our diverse selections of stylish styles. Visit us at 170-180 Thomas Street, Kitty, Georgetown. Discover a solution that not only lights up your world but transforms it. Call us on telephone number 226-3018 or 223-1634. SNL Electrical Inc., powering your life with elegance, quality, and care.
With 70% ethyl alcohol, Mighty Foam Hand Sanitizer eliminates 99.99% of all germs and even moisturizes in the process, leaving your skin clean and hydrated. Mighty Foam Hand Sanitizer. How do you stay clean?
Krishna Roth Establishment. No job is too small or too large. We specialize in all types of fabricating, machinery, excavator repairs, rice field pumps, and hydraulic hoses. Visit us at Lot 113, Block CC Monrepo, East Coast, Demerara, or call 220-9624, 616-9416, or 619-7880. At Krishna Roth Establishment, no job is too small or too large.
Welcome back to the HGP Nightly News. We tell you now that as the Christian community commemorates Good Friday and Easter, leaders from this denomination have urged believers to embody the teachings of Jesus Christ, including humility, empathy, and forgiveness. Antonio Day will tell you more.
Good Friday is a somber day of reflection, penance, and grief, which commemorates the day Jesus was nailed to a wooden cross and died for the sins of humanity. According to Father John Rodriguez of the St. Mary the Virgin Anglican Church, in an interview with Nightly News, Christ's struggle with betrayal, murder, and persecution are related to the current social issues. In this context, these challenges either build or break us depending on how we handle them.
In the end of all of these, our challenges, we look to the resurrection, which means life over death, light over darkness, victory over challenges.
Father Rodriguez highlighted that Holy Thursday, or Maundy Thursday, occurring before Good Friday, signifies the last day of Jesus' life. On this day, he washed the feet of 12 apostles, shared his Last Supper with them, and was subsequently betrayed by Judas. The religious leader explained that although Christ knew that among his disciples there would be a traitor, which turned out to be Judas Iscariot, he, Christ, still carried out his mandate, which is to love one another, including your enemies. The word Maundy comes from the Latin word mandatum, meaning commandment, as in, I give you a new commandment, love one another as I have loved you, according to Jesus Christ. The Holy Week also serves as an opportunity for Christians to draw closer to God, Rodriguez remarked.
If we discipline our thoughts that, yes, I do believe in Jesus, and I do believe that He is with me and He will take me through the storm.
Meanwhile, Father Amar from the Pleasance Roman Catholic Church shared his thoughts on the importance of Easter.
If you say that you love Christ, we have to obey His word, listen to His word, and follow His commandment. And God's blessing will be with you and for you.
The Roman Catholic priest also touched on the emblem of breaking bread, which should serve as a lesson to many.
When He was giving the bread, He said, do this in memory of me. After sharing the wine, He said, do this in memory of me. And therefore, this is an act of giving, act of sharing what you have with your brothers and sisters.
I'm Antonio De reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation on Thursday completely rejected the Chinese Deputy of Mission's suggestion of having friendly consultation with the Venezuelan government regarding the border dispute. This story from Daisy Richards.
They can solve the border issue through friendly consultation and negotiations.
That was China's Deputy of Mission on Wednesday at a press conference when asked about the recent incursion by the Venezuelan Coast Guard ship into Guyana's waters. In response to the statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation rejected the views emanating from the Chinese embassy. They reminded the government of the People's Republic of China about the Guyana government's position on the matter that is currently pending before the International Court of Justice, a decision made by the United Nations Secretary General to settle the matter. They further noted the Argyle Declaration of December 2023, quote, Guyana's assertion that is committed to the process and procedures of the International Court of Justice for the resolution of the border controversy, unquote, adding that Guyana will not undermine the authority of the court and will not engage in discussion since it has been brought before the court. The ministry highlighted that the government of the People's Republic of China have not commented on the plans made by Venezuela on the elections they intend to conduct on the 25th of May 2025 for a governor and legislative council of the Guayana Essequibo state, a name given to Guyana's Essequibo region, and that is a threat to the country's territorial integrity. The ministry continued by highlighting that the principles of international law and of mutual respect will guide the actions and interactions of Guyana with member states and the international community. For HGP Nightly News, I am Daisy Richards.
The Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, is sounding the alarm over a surge in noise pollution complaints, particularly within the construction sector. According to the agency, over 1,100 complaints have been lodged in the past 2 years alone, putting significant pressure on its limited resources. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
Within the last 2 years, the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, has received more than 1,100 complaints about noise pollution, specifically related to the construction sector across the country. This was revealed by Executive Director Kemraj Parsram during a recent episode of the agency's in-house program, EPA 360. Parsram explained that the agency has managed to investigate and resolve approximately 300 of those cases, while 866 remain active.
We've managed to investigate 300 and deal with them. We have another 866.
The head of the EPA also reminded the public that the agency handles environmental concerns across multiple sectors, not just construction, all while operating within limited manpower.
We're only 170 something staff, and that includes administrative as well as technical. So imagine complaints from all sectors across the country.
Providing insight into the investigation process, Parsram said that some noise complaints, particularly those tied to road construction, require collaboration with other government agencies.
The problem is that they maybe have all the systems in place. Then you have a subcontractor who is to bring materials to the road. And these truck drivers are driving how they, Guyanese drivers, they drive out, they don't care, they're trying to get as much trips in. And then they drive and they don't abide by speed limits. And when you don't do that, in an open road, fast driving, dry conditions will cause noise, vibration, and dust.
Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Tiana. There is more news ahead. Stay with us.
Planning a cleanup? We can help. Sevon's Waste Management skip bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanup, or construction project. It's simple. Step 1, give us a call. Step 2, we put down the bin. Step 3, load it up with all of your junk. Step 4, we take it away. That's simple. Bins are also available in various sizes, so there is no job that is too big or too small. Call Sevon's Waste Management today at 218-1455.
GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by June 30, 2025 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Anyone eligible for registration is required to visit the GCOM registration office responsible for his or her area of residence to apply for registration. Persons who are already registered could apply for a name change if they have changed their names since they were registered. Apply for corrections if there is incorrect information on their national ID card. Persons who are desirous of conducting any of those transactions must provide the relevant supporting documents. Persons who have already registered must collect their new ID cards if they have not yet done so. This registration exercise will end on May 30, 2025. You need to apply for a transfer if you now live at another address since you were registered. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-02-7729 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
These nice products I cook with proper things. Peppies, you get the best and these things. Oh no, bless
Okay. Pack up these things. Yellow. Yeah, put the things in the car.
Loving you is easy cause you're beautiful. Do-da-do-da-do. I love you and you and you and you and you. I love all of you.
Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
And you. I love Peppies.
Keeping up with the kids' growth spurts might mean it's time for a bigger fridge. Don't worry, at Quartz, we've got you. Save up to $50,000 on select fridges. Get a free grill or mixer with select stoves and more. Need to upgrade your home? Get smart TVs from as low as $32,999. Plus, shop today and pay later. And make your first payment in 30 days with Quartz Ready Finance. Whatever you need, we've got you. Only at Quartz, bringing value home. Offer ends April 23, 2025.
Welcome back to the HGP Nightly News. The wife of dismissed Assistant Commissioner of Police Calvin Brutus remains overseas Adonica Alder, who was granted court-approved medical leave to travel to the United States, has not returned since December of 2024.
Adonica Alder prolonged absence from the country is once again come under scrutiny in the magistrate's court, as she, her husband, and another accused appeared in court in relation to multi-million-dollar fraud and money laundering charges. The financial crime matters involving dismissed Assistant Commissioner of Police Calvin Brittis, his wife Adonica Alder, and a driver Kevin George were on Thursday called before Acting Chief Magistrate Faith McGusty in the Georgetown Magistrates Court. Alder is still overseas in the United States of America. Back in December 2024, Magistrate McGusty granted her permission to leave the country for emergency medical treatment, as she was heavily pregnant at the time. She was expected to return to court on December 18, 2024. However, while she has not returned physically, she has appeared virtually in relation to her financial crime charges. Alder is facing 2 charges of money laundering. She is accused of acquiring $352 million from her company's account at Republic Bank in December 2023, knowing or having reasonable grounds to believe that the funds were derived from criminal activity. During Thursday's proceedings, she appeared virtually alongside her husband, Calvin Brittis, and Kevin George for statements and further disclosure. At the hearing, Magistrate McGusty inquired about Alder's anticipated return to Guyana. Her attorney, Dominic Best, informed the court that his client had applied for a U.S. passport and that a copy of the receipt was currently in their possession. The prosecution requested that the receipt be submitted to the court, and Magistrate McGusty agreed. The magistrate also asked for a timeline on when the passport would be processed and the earliest date that Alder would be returning to the country. Calvin Brittis told the court that the process would take 6 to 8 weeks and that appointment for the passport was dependent on available dates. Meanwhile, in relation to Brittis, who's facing 261 fraud charges, and Kevin George, the prosecution disclosed that some bank documents were still outstanding and yet to be submitted to the court. The matter was adjourned to May 16, 2025. Tiana reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Guyana is seeking international help to probe the importation of bogus U.S. currency. You'll have more details in this report. Following the seizure of 50,000 fake United States currency at a bond at the Chedi Jagan International Airport, the Guyana Revenue Authority is seeking the assistance of local and overseas investigators to probe the importation of the fake currency into Guyana. Quote, the relevant authorities, both in Guyana and overseas, were notified about the matter and further investigations are being pursued in keeping with the provisions of the Customs and Anti-Money Laundering Acts are ongoing, unquote. The Guyana Revenue Authority, in a release to the media, said customs officers of the GRA recently seized the quantity of suspected imitation U.S. currency contained in an incoming package at a popular cargo bond at the Chedi Jagan International Airport. The package contained 500 pieces of fake U.S. $100 bills suspected to be imitation currency, with all the trademarks of the U.S. $100 bill with some additional markings. The package was seized and law enforcement officers are attempting to locate the consignee, the GRA said. According to the GRA, the Customs Act Chapter 8201 restricts goods which bear a design in imitation of any currency or banknotes or coin in common use in Guyana or elsewhere, unless it has the approval of the GRA Commissioner General. The GRA said it continues to note the alarming trend in efforts to smuggle items including gold, monetary instruments, arms, and narcotics through ports in Guyana. It reiterates that all such persons dealing in or contemplating engaging in such illegal activities cease and desist from such practices or face the consequences for their actions. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. Stay tuned for your regional news.
Turbo with a new look, new style, with the same great taste in the 250 ml can. Everybody run out now. Go and go grab one. Me charge up with a turbo 250 ml at your favorite spot. Wait, sell. New look, new can, same vibes. Jinxing, energize up your life. Vibes up, work time, anytime we are turn up the party with turbo can. Turbo can, turbo can, turbo can. Now available in the new 250 ml can. Turbo energy drink. Charge up today.
GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. If you have moved to a new address since you were registered, you are required to update your address by applying for a transfer to ensure your registration details are accurate. Visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to apply for a transfer. You can apply to have your address updated during this national registration exercise. You can visit the GCOM registration offices Monday to Thursday from 8 to 12 hours and 13 to 16 hours 30, and Friday from 8 to 12 hours and 13 to 15 hours 30. The offices will be closed on weekends and holidays. This registration exercise will end on May 30, 2025. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0277-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Interested in honoring or paying tribute to a loved one, or just making a loved one feel special? HGP TV offers you all that and more. Air your birthday greetings, death announcements, and wedding anniversaries on HGP TV today. HGP TV offers affordable prices, convenience, and great services. Call us on 220-3660 or email us at sales@hgptv.com.
Good evening and welcome to Thursday's edition of the Regional News. The Inter-American Commission on Human Rights on Wednesday expressed concern over what it described as Dominica's electoral reform process and reiterates its confidence in the government to uphold democratic principles enshrined in the Organization of American States, OAS, Democratic Charter, and in American Convention on Human Rights. In a statement, the Commission, a principal and autonomous organ of the OAS, said that it has monitored Dominica's electoral reform efforts since 2018, noting civil society's concerns regarding the integrity and independence of electoral entities, lack of campaign finance regulations, and the recent removal of the 5-year absence rule for voter registration. The financing of voter transportation from abroad by political parties has also been flagged as an issue by the electoral missions. In 2023, the Electoral Reform Commission appointed in 2020 proposed draft bills to enhance electoral transparency and voter protections and ensure a more inclusive and equitable electoral process. It recalled that in May 2024, the government introduced 3 pieces of legislation, namely the Registration of Electors Bill and accompanying regulations, the House of Assembly Elections Bill, and the Electoral Commission Bill. In Trinidad, a passenger who landed at Piarco International Airport was shot and killed early Thursday, shortly after arriving, while another person was wounded when gunmen opened fire on a car parked near the arrivals area. According to police reports, gunmen opened fire on the vehicle, fatally wounding 1 occupant, and the second man managed to flee the scene. An investigation is now underway. The airport shooting is the second homicide since the state of emergency officially ended on April 13. The state of emergency that was declared on December 30, 2024, followed a deadly weekend in Port of Spain, where 6 people were murdered. In St. Vincent, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves says recent fake news contents, including one where he was suggesting how to get money from a fake government program, are part of the efforts to unseat his ruling Unity Labour Party, ULP, in the next general elections. Voters are widely expected to go to the polls to elect a new government in November ahead of the February 2026 constitutional deadline. In the video, the Gonsalves lookalike was having a quote-unquote interview with a woman playing the role of a journalist about how members of the public could get money from a fake government program. Gonsalves said the AI-generated voice did not capture his quote-unquote twang, but suggested that it would get better with time. Gonsalves had earlier suggested that the article and video were part of a wider plot involving foreign entities such as China and supporters of the opposition New Democratic Party's NDP. Gonsalves said historically the people who want to sell St. Vincent and the Grenadines passports pay a company to run the campaign. The ruling ULP is not in favor of the CBI program, under which foreign investors are granted citizenship of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines in return for making a substantial investment in the socio-economic development of the country. Thank you for watching. I am Tiana Cole.
Talks break down. AFC will not coalesce with the PNCR for the 2025 elections. We prefer coalition. 70-30 split of positions was reasonable, says AUBREY Norton. Over 15,000 students sat the NGSA in 2025, and religious leaders urged Christian community that signs of humility was demonstrated by Jesus Christ. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm Travis Chase. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.